Hello, and welcome to Hey, I Loved That Movie, the podcast where we rewatch the films we loved when we were younger to see if they still hold up. I'm Dan.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Helena.
And for this episode, we have returning special guest, it's Mack.
It's me, Mack, and we're talking about Men in Black 2. Strong start.
Apologies. I thought I should mute myself, but then I was like, no, I'm making more work for Dan.
So when we did Men in Black 1, I was like, oh, I all of my memories were actually from Men in Black 2, and then it turns out that I had two memories of Men in Black 2.
Yeah, that's most of the movie, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely saw this like more than the first one when it came out, but I remembered barely anything.
Yeah.
I definitely got the girls confused. I think that basically in my mind, even though we'd watched the first film, I sort of thought Men in Black 2 was the same film, but then obviously she goes to space at the end. I kind of, in my head, thought it was the same. I didn't know it was a new girl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Well,
because she's not in it, is she?
No.
No,
They make
she's not in it.
they make some reference at the start about sending her back to the morgue, and I don't know if that meant because that's where she worked in the first one, or if Will Smith killed her.
They killed her.
But
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Or is she just dissecting aliens now?
that's probably a better route to go, really, I imagine. But yeah, both these films have a big problem that every time there's a female character in it, it's just like, oh, there's a female character here, and they're just gonna point out like, look, she's here, and then they just don't really do anything with them.
Except this one, there were two female characters.
Yeah, I mean,
Ooh.
one of them,
Oh, yeah.
one of them, are they female or do they look female? That's the trick of it, right? Because they're a genderless organism that looks like a lady from a magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other one is a lamp.
From is it a porn magazine?
I think it's just a lingerie model, I think.
Oh, lingerie, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like the alien crash lands and just morphs into the first thing they see.
Yeah, which is crazy they didn't just become a magazine. I mean, a very different movie if Johnny Knoxville would be like, there's a magazine in my house of a sexy lady.
Or turn into the dog.
Yeah. Does anyone remember what the first line of dialogue is in this film after the alien crashes?
No.
No.
It is, the bald man says, "Hey, pretty lady, you taste good."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he gets murdered. I did quite like the joke of like you see the spaceship kind of flying through and destroying planets, and then you see it crash, and then it comes out, and then it's just tiny.
Yeah, it's like knee high.
Yeah. That was pretty funny.
Did that guy that like tried to assault her? Did he see her materialize, or was
You'd assume not.
Yeah, I was
That's
gonna say.
desperate.
Because it was like instantly he appeared behind her. He must have watched her materialize and then went, "No, I can still,
Nah, still would.
I can take it."
But then he gets eaten behind the hedge, right? And then she
Yeah.
comes out and she's all fat because she's eating someone. And then she just goes back behind the hedge and comes out just holding his jacket and boots and is fine. And I'm like, did you perfectly shit clean boots and jacket?
No, she vomited.
Oh.
You can hear her vomiting.
Yeah, she's poor bulimic alien.
Well, yeah, even she vomited then. I'm like, there's no liquid on those, right? You just literally reach in and take them out, like, very calmly. Like, yeah, she's just loads of worms. You probably could just open up a big hole.
Maybe
and
the
chuck them
jacket was always out behind. Maybe she didn't eat the jacket before.
Oh, yeah,
and
maybe
just
that's
brought
She
it back
left
out.
it.
Yeah. Oh, I guess that makes sense. Maybe she just went back behind there, vomited, and then put on the jacket and boots and walked off.
Mm.
Yeah.
I feel like we're giving the start of this film too much.
Yeah, we've put more thought into this than they did, for sure.
Yeah, their thought into this was, what if alien sexy lady? Ha.
But if Alien was,
Yeah.
which we know is new and an original thought for this film,
Yes, never been done
because
before.
this film has an infinite amount of original thoughts,
Mm.
and not references to the first film or other pop culture. This film, okay, we can all agree. Start the film, not as good as the first one.
No,
No,
not true.
definitely
no,
not.
No.
No way.
We're all on
No.
the same. Just want to make sure we're all on the same board because I have some
Yeah.
complaints about this film.
I feel like we all do.
Good.
My other memories of this were of the big worm in the subway, and of for some reason the bit where Will Smith is trying to get out of all the clear tubes and it takes him ages. For some reason that was like one of my memories of this.
Oh, I remember that as a child and being really anxious about it because having like time restraints as a kid really freaked me out, and he just wasn't taking it seriously, and I was like, get up, why are you not getting up? What is happening? Like, making me really angry watching it. So I remember that also, Dan.
Yeah, I remember it, and it is one of the funniest scenes in the film, which says something.
Yeah.
Because I think this film's trying to be funny.
It tries.
But Mac, why did you pick this? Why did you make us watch this?
I mean, I still liked it.
Yeah, I didn't have a bad time watching it, but it was one of those films where like I was kind of doing other things at the same time, and it was just nice to let it wash over me. I made one note watching this,
the film.
and that's a sweet video phone.
Yeah, that was good. I have like 20 notes, but they're all just like things I had forgot about and that I thought were funny at the time. The main one is that Patrick Warburton deserved to be neuralized because he's a bad cop.
Yeah.
Like, the first thing he does is just start assaulting someone while Will Smith's calmly talking to them, and Patrick Warburton just starts shaking them. And I'm like, oh, this is very relevant. 21 years later. That's like, that's a real sad indictment of things, isn't it?
Yeah,
what, a cop beating up an alien?
Well, just a cop assaulting someone for no reason, I guess.
Yeah.
Especially when they're like, he was an ex-Marine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. Hit on some.
So yeah, the premise of this film is not Men in Black. Obviously, that is the premise. And the title. Will Smith he's going through partners like nobody's business.
Like Leonardo DiCaprio.
They're not young enough for that.
Timely reference.
To be honest with you, they're too young to remember this film.
So he goes and investigates a thingy,
Leonardo DiCaprio.
a murder.
Yeah.
And he takes along his best buddy, the dog, as like a last resort.
Yeah, Frank.
Frank is a much bigger character in this film. I think maybe he just did well in the first one. People liked him, so.
Yeah, there's a weird character.
It shows that they've learned. They've tried to learn and get feedback from the first film, but then they do make so many of the same mistakes that they made in the first film. So it's like, well, you learn
nothing.
A little.
It isn't very little. Like, this film is so weird. It's so strange, just in terms of like what is happening. It's one of those films where you just kind of things just sort of are happening, and you have to kind of go with it.
It's like they obviously clearly really, really regretted writing Tommy Lee out.
Yeah.
Yes. That is the big mistake. They were like, well, we need to write a sequel, and Will Smith can't be allowed to do this on his own. Obviously.
And just like the last one as well, Tommy Lee Jones absolutely crushes it and leaves everyone else in his wake. Being acted to smithereens.
Yeah, Will Smith is terrible as like a straight man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, he just is. Like, every film where he's like has to play non-funny, he's terrible at it, pretty much. Or like he has to play against someone funny, he's awful. So they have to make him funny, so they have to get Tommy Lee Jones back.
Yeah, it has to have someone from to bounce off, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Not
the
that
one
he's that
like
funny.
legitimately good joke in this was whenever Tommy Lee Jones remembers again, and he does the little thing where there's an inflatable driver in the car, and Tommy Lee Jones says, "Did that come as standard?" And Will Smith's like, "It used to be a black guy, but we had to get rid of him because he kept getting pulled over."
Yeah.
But I was like, "That's a good joke, right?" And Will Smith delivers it in like a quite funny way, where it's like, "Yeah, you get that it's an annoying thing," but that they have to wait till like 40 minutes into the film for that relationship to come back, and it just wastes a lot of time.
It does, and the sort of weird vibe of Tommy Lee Jones not. Basically, they need to get him back because he knows where the light of Xanathar is, or something.
Yeah.
Is that D&D?
No, that sounds about right.
Yeah. And then he made himself forget doubly. So they made him forget everything, but he'd already made himself forget that. So it's like, oh, it'll come back to him, but we have to wait. And it just means that they've basically just put a stunt on his ability to act.
Yeah.
And be a character in this film, where it's like, well, we're just kind of waiting for him to come back because he's going to.
Yeah. And he's also like not even in it for the first half. Like, he's not in it for like a good percentage of the film.
The pacing of this film was a little bit odd.
Weird.
It's a good like half an hour or so until he comes into it, and he's like just working at a post office.
Yeah.
But
I
will
did
say-
really like
Yeah.
the. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say the post office is very funny because he is still K, right? But he's not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's why I really liked about it. I'm like, oh, that is just Tommy Lee Jones, but it's just no matter what scenario you put him in, he would have been exactly the same character. It's just the
Yeah.
fact that he's in a post office. That's
Is
it.
yeah, runs a very militant, organised, alien-friendly post
Yeah.
office.
yeah.
Yeah.
All the workers are just aliens, and you find it out because they play that one Korn song.
Yeah.
Well, I like that scene because that bit where Will Smith scans everyone, right, and reveals that the first guy's an alien, is like 80s and 90s rapper Biz Markie, and he just is like, oh, Biz Markie works here, and he just starts beatboxing, and then immediately Biz Markie just beatboxes back to him, and it just zooms in on Tommy Lee Jones' face, and I genuinely was like, is he confused because they're speaking, or because he's like, what's this new music I'm hearing for the first time? What is that music these young people listen to that I don't know about?
So when they went to Tommy Lee, when they went to K, I thought every part of me was like, and I know this is bad of me to think, but imagine if he was just racist, and that was like something they had to deal with. If like they went back to the character and he was just awful.
Yeah, like he's sitting on the porch in a rocking chair holding a gun.
Just
Yeah.
like they just went back and it
Awful.
was like, well, this isn't how do we deal with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Clint Eastwood now.
It's just Gran Torino.
Yeah, they did have the fair share of cameos. Some better than others. Bismarcky
Oh, yeah.
good. Michael Jackson bad.
This film has aged again. This
Yeah.
film has aged much like the first one, really fucking weirdly, because
Yeah.
of all of like the cameos. And it's always dangerous to do pop culture cameos, and I kind of understand why no TV shows do it now,
Mm.
because you never know.
Yep, you never
I
know
mean-
who's going to be a nonce.
I mean, I know it's a terrible movie as it is, but imagine watching Free Guy in even 10 years' time. Like, you'll not have a fucking clue who anyone in that movie is. Like, a YouTuber. We haven't even had YouTube for 6 years since the event.
Since the collapse.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought all the cameos in this were very odd. Biz Markie's fine because they get him in specifically to do beatboxing,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, that makes sense. But then having Michael Jackson as the agent is like, you literally in the last film pointed out that Elvis was the alien. You just said Dennis Rodman's the alien. Of all the people to not imply they're an alien, surely Michael Jackson's like the easiest one to make that implication around.
Yeah.
The other disappointing thing in this is that, yeah, when they find Kay, that you find out his wife left him, and it's like, after the entire plot of the first fucking movie
Right.
was him wanting to kind of like, he was done with this and he wanted to go back and sort of be with his wife again. And then it's like, oh, she left me. Like,
Yeah.
fuck that.
No, I think you're correct, Dan, right, based on this film. But I think there is an interesting film with the idea that this man cannot live a normal life because he's been irreparably changed by it. But then they just never deal with that, right? They're just like,
No.
okay, his life's sad. But the idea of being like, he's lost his memory, but even without his memory, he cannot go back to a civilian life. Like, he just can't do it. And I think that's like a fun, not a fun thing, but that's an interesting like war analogy thing to do
Yeah,
with.
yeah,
But they
it's like
just
trauma.
brush over it so quickly. Yeah, like it's such a trauma thing, and they're just like, that could be such a big thing of the plot, right? Especially because the other thing they kind of imply and never lead into is Will Smith being like, oh, you can't be a hero in this job because no one knows who you are.
Yeah.
And like, that's two
Yeah.
stories you could tell together that are interesting and a bit different, but they just brush over both of them so quickly. And like,
Yeah.
that whole Will Smith wanting to be a hero thing just never comes back again.
No,
Like,
they-
really?
Well,
not
he
not
doesn't.
for
He
him.
doesn't want to be a hero, but I think he's
Yeah.
struggling with his
Yeah.
navy dude. Obviously,
Yeah.
was it a navy or whatever it was?
Yeah.
The partner from the start wants to
Yeah.
be famous,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, it doesn't work like that.
It just sets up two, like, I think genuinely quite interesting ideas that you could, like, not like to like a really deep degree, but in this kind of film you could explore them to a degree, but they just
Yeah.
don't deal with them at all. Like, and it's just, as you said, Dan, it's just like, hey, we'll set the whole first film up so Kay can find his wife, and the second film it's just like, oh, she left him. It's not even like, oh, you know, she died and he has no more, like, you know, his whole purpose of leaving the MIB was to go see her, so like,
Ooh.
she just cleared off and it's just never addressed again.
or she left him because he was irreparably changed by the Men in
Yeah.
Black.
Yeah, and it just doesn't deal with any of that stuff. And at least that would be something a bit interesting. It gives you Tommy Lee Jones a scene of heart that he can tap into towards the end where they can have a big monologue or something, you know?
Mm.
Because
'Cause
there
he
was a
just-
lot of
yeah.
heart in the first film, and I remember even like the the setup of Tommy Lee Jones recruiting Will Smith, being like, this isn't this job's hard and isolating, and you're not ever going to be famous. Is it Men in Black where it's got like all the newspapers of the day after they do stuff, or is that a different film?
No, it's a different film.
I think Men in Black 1, they did that thing where they were like, they have all the newspapers about the aliens, and then that shows you the like red top, or what do you call it, the bad paper. Well, I can't remember the word for it.
Oh no, I was talking about, maybe it's Sherlock Holmes. God, I don't know. Where they've got the newspapers of the day, and it's like just really boring. Kingsman.
Yeah, that's the one.
Where they're like, and this is like what it's like being undercover, being like working like in isolation of society, is this things going normally and going as expected is your best outcome. There's no hero saves the day.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you for reminding me it was Kingsman. Oh, what a film.
Could watch that.
That one's good. I would also slightly complain about the sequel, but you know.
There's an excellent jukebox in the sequel.
Yeah, it is, but that sequel feels like it should be the third in a trilogy, and they're missing a bunch of great, like, what they set up in the first one, it could have been a great series, and then they just immediately blow it all up. Anyway, Men in Black 2.
Yeah.
Oh, Johnny Knoxville's in it. He's got 2 heads.
Yeah, why is the second Johnny Knoxville head look so shit? why does it look so much worse than the normal one?
Because it's 2002.
Yeah,
no, I know, I understand, but it's not like CGI where they're recreating the face. It's just another face. Why does it look so terrible?
There was like one season of Jackass in between, and so he just got a bit more fucked up before he did the second phase.
It makes sense, right, that Johnny Knoxville's in this at that time, because it's like, that is like the Jackass time, right? That's whenever Jackass at its peak. But like, Johnny Knoxville is in a sitcom now that has just got cancelled called Reboot, and I watched a few episodes of it, and I was like, you're not great now, mate, and you've been trying to act for for 21 years at this point.
It doesn't feel like he's peaked and then got worse. It feels like he never quite got there.
It's also a very odd thing about Johnny Knoxville is he's very clearly set up as like the second bad guy, right? Like he's certainly the main bad guy's henchman. And at the end, when they have the big fight, there's just another dude. Like it's just the other guy. And they're just like, hey, you deal with that. And Johnny Knoxville's just not in it again. Like he just does not.
He just kind of disappears. Yeah.
Yeah. And like again, this is a very simple fix, but I guess like they just, because the other guy that ended up fighting, his name was like Jareth or something. Jareth is like one of the puppeteers from the Hanson Company and stuff. So I think he actually made a lot of the alien suits and things like that.
Oh,
so I think
right.
they maybe give it to him as like a little treat or something. But like the whole thing of it being revealed that he's like 4 tiny aliens. Johnny Knoxville's already 2 heads. You very easily could have had that fight scene where he just splits into loads of Johnny Knoxville's, right?
Yeah.
Like it would have been literally exactly the same scene. Like he didn't have to change anything.
Yeah, the introduction of that guy felt really unnecessary.
Yeah, and like they don't address him. It's just like they just put scary music on. And he comes in. They're just like, "Oh, hello, Jareth," or whatever your name is, and it's like, "Do you want to kill Kay?" And he's like, "I'd love to," and then that's it.
It feels like we're already meant to know who he is.
He's the Boba Fett of this movie.
But is he in the first film?
No.
Okay, God.
He's in the Men in Black Holiday Special.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, like it feels like you're fully meant to know, because this is based on comics, so maybe he's like really big in the comics, and they were just hoping
that's very possible, actually. Yeah.
The comic fans were going to see this film, but they didn't do that for the first one.
Before I forget as well, that scene where they do introduce Jareth just before it, whenever Serlena's like checking in to Earth at the airport desk or whatever. Yeah. There's 2 aliens in the background that are just 2 normal people on all 4s. That really made me laugh. Like they're literally just walking on their hands and feet, and that's it, in normal clothes. I was like, those aren't aliens. Those are yoga instructors and Men in Black. Like, they're not doing anything.
Those are those people online that are like, I'm going to learn to run on all 4s. That's what those people are.
Yeah.
I did also like how there's just a Burger King in the Men in Black headquarters.
Yeah.
Did you just notice the bird aliens?
Yeah.
The bird people.
They were cool looking.
Yeah. I don't know why, but every time I think of Men in Black, they're always like the first aliens I think of, as if they have a real key plot. And they're not. Like they don't even have a speaking role.
It is a shame, isn't it? Like how fantastic they bring in all these fantastic creatures, and then they do nothing with them.
The one alien that you get named is a Balchinian, who literally is just a man with testicles on his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Well, to be fair, it's still alright. It's still alright,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's just weird that you have all these different alien types and you just don't really use them, except the guy who's got balls on his face.
And I guess
Or-
the bugs. What are they called?
Oh, yeah, the worms. Yeah, the
The
worms.
worms,
are good.
yeah. Because they weren't in the film that much in the first one, so it was nice to.
No, they're just smoking or whatever the first
I
one.
I really like when they're trying to help out and they get all like armored up, and then when it comes to like fighting the what is like a dustbin that's her friend.
The
Defend
shittest
them.
R2D2 you've ever seen in your life.
I mean, it's shinier than RTD2. I'll give them
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But and all the bugs are just like quivering at the like. Obviously, they're at the top of the lift, kind of Mission Impossible style, hiding. They're just quivering. They're like, yeah, no, we can't move. We're too scared.
Yeah. I did really like that. Also, the same way you come up and you think they're all murdered, they're all still alive, just very calmly, like moaning, and Kay's like, pull yourself together, and they just literally pull themselves together, and one of them's like, oh, that's much better.
Yeah.
As if he didn't know that would help.
Yeah, because they all get shot because they're having to essentially be witness protection for the character that even we've barely talked about, which is
The woman.
Laura, which is Rosario. Rosario.
It's the girl.
Laura,
the woman.
she's the light of Zartha.
Yeah, that was the
Zartha.
fucking dumbest reveal at the end. I was like, for fuck's sake, really?
Did you not know?
I
Or-
mean, it was obvious, but it was like obvious to the point where you were like, "That's too obvious."
Only reason I remember it so clearly is the dumbass line of like, "Oh, don't you notice that it's raining when you're sad?" And she's like, "Oh, people often get sad when it's raining." It's like, "No, it rains because you're sad." And we're like, "Why? And how big are the radius? Why is that a thing?"
I did find it funny watching this time, knowing that happened, and whenever Ben or whatever you call him from the pizza place died and zoomed into the skylight and it rained, and I was like, that's gonna come back later. And I was like, I'll do this, and I'm gonna be able to tell everyone I'm so smart. And then at the end I was like, oh no wait, it's still dumb. even the foreshadowing isn't good.
Full credit to my husband for pointing this out as well. A bit of foreshadowing, which Mikey can explain. When there's the scene where they're at the video store and it's like, oh, not the pizza store, and they're like, oh, past Kay's left me clues.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then it does actually point at the Statue of Liberty, if you and it's like that's where they have the last fight. And
yeah, I actually made a note of that. I was saying to Dad earlier, I've got one real up my arse film bro point. I was like, it actually is a very nice bit of character work if you think about the fact that like that whole setup thing was made by Kay when he was like a young agent, right? And there's Jay does it and like gets to the ending of it and he thinks he's wrong, and then at the end you realize, oh, actually he was right also, and he followed what young Kay probably set up. And it's like the whole thing of like they're probably in a very similar mindset, and the idea that old Kay was just like, well, the keys are just here. It's like a very like, I've given up on all this bullshit, I'm just gonna follow this point. Whereas Jade and all the nonsense like walking around the pizza place, and then you get there and it is pointing at the Statue of Liberty and there's a pizza, or like the spaceship is the shape of that pizza slice. And I was like, that's very nice. It's just a nice little bit of him being like, oh, we are the same.
The spaceship's like a weird, it just looks like a badly animated round stone. It's that charm that she has on her charm bracelet that lights up.
Yeah, which is also, they never really reference it, and then Kay's like, is it glowing? And she's like, how did you know that? And then it's just like, no, like
it's never done that before.
Yeah.
I'd be like, is it safe? Should I keep this on my wrist? Do you guys want this? Why is it glowing?
Is this radioactive?
Yeah. If I was in a
can I
flying
still have
car,
children? Do I need to get radiation treatment?
if I was in a flying car with two people who just told me they were researching aliens and my bracelet, which I'd had since childhood, started glowing, I'd throw it out the window. I'd be like, I don't want that anywhere near me.
But then you throw it out the window and they're like, oh yeah, it's going to explode. You'd be like, well, someone else's problem.
So is it the bracelet's the bomb, but she's the light?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't really
Okay.
remember.
Wasn't sure what the function of the bracelet was.
I don't think it really explained it. Oh, the bracelet it tells you where the ship is. It got brighter the closer they got to it.
I mean, what Helena said did sound like one of those AI-generated motivational posters. The bracelet's the bomb, but she's the light.
So, like, can we talk about the flying car scene?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
So-
well, it's the exact same fucking scene as the one in the first film.
Yeah.
But up instead of down.
Yeah, a huge amount of this film is the exact same scene from the first film, just a bit reversed.
Yeah.
Which meant that we had, yet again, the fucking Chekhov's armory turn up again, and it's still annoying, because they go into a room full of alien tools and weapons, introduce you to some of them, and then don't use any
No.
Yeah.
when they fight.
Yeah, like that. I mean, the little locker people is one thing, but then there's like the glowing orb that Kay pokes and starts screaming, and yeah, they have
there's like a little world in it.
Chekhov's armory, which is like the Chekhov's gun, which is like if you show something in the first thing, it foreshadows something later. No,
What's
if you
foreshadowing?
yeah, if you show a gun in the first scene, someone gets shot in the third scene. Like they don't use any of it, and it's so
The
annoying.
only thing they do is reference the first film, which
Yeah,
is
with
a
the
little
little
bit
gun.
self-congratulatory.
And he says, "Oh,
It's
this
sucking
is," and
its own whatever, basically.
and they do it in the most irritating way, because he's like, "This will be the last suit you put on." Again, and it's like, it's so annoying. It makes it seem like they don't want to be making this film.
And like he gives Kay the naughty cricket or whatever it's called, noisy
Yeah.
cricket.
The
Naughty cricket's a different. different thing.
That's the other line of tools. But yeah, I just want them to use something else in that room.
Yeah,
'Cause
it's like
they
they've
should.
obviously got all this alien tech and they don't use it, and it's like, oh, why not?
They have like a globe, a planet in an orb that if you touch it, they panic. Why not like throw that at her and see what happens?
I mean, that sounds a bit like genocide, but sure.
Yeah. If we touch it, the people will die. Let's throw it at her.
Lob it at her.
Can you
Just throw one of the bad guys into the locker filled with a town of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets fully Gulliver's travelled.
Just
Like-
when we are talking about all the little people, can we talk about the religion based on someone leaving a video store card before
Yeah.
our holy day of Wednesday, 2 for 1, where we will give twice as much as we receive.
And they
at
have
the
their
end,
own
it's
little, like, dirty
Yeah,
cinema that they all rush into.
That's the best bit. They all do this big religious like monologue. Then it's like, hot girl is in the back, and then they all just run to this porch.
That was funny. That did
Yeah,
tickle
I
me. And I also like,
got
they're like,
that.
who is this? And he's like, oh, this is Jay. And they skip a beat and then they go, all hail Jay.
Yeah. Oh, it's Kay, the light giver. Then he takes his watch away, and they all start screaming. And like that's all it takes for them to care about you, is just to give them a watch.
Yeah.
And again, they're not referenced again. That's just like a
No.
nice little world building bit. And
Well,
then
the
they don't
reference
really
is that
fill it
they
up.
come back in and Kay's put them in Jay's locker as a prank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, if you open this door, we're in a locker too.
Which, like, how do you move them? How do you move an entire, like, city of people?
I'd imagine. Have you seen that lady on TikTok that does all the bees?
No.
What an opening! No, Al.
Sorry, she rescues bees.
Okay.
So it's not B movie.
She like finds the queen. Like she goes to places where there's like an infestation, like bees where they don't want them to be bees, like kids' playgrounds
bees.
or lofts, and then she's really tame. Like she doesn't wear a beekeeper suit or anything. She just kind of scoops them up with her hands and plonks them down. And like once she's found the queen, she's like, yeah, and if you like just rustle them a little bit, they then go into the new hive. Like, oh, okay, we're going this place now.
Yeah.
The way you just said scoop them up makes it very funny to imagine Kay just in the locker, like tipping.
Yeah, no, I was thinking he's got dustpan and brush.
Oh, I was thinking he was like pulling the bottom of his shirt out and just like tipping them on. It's like walking
Oh, like he's
through
about to
Grand
feed
Central.
them to his chickens.
Yeah, like he's just walking through Grand Central, dumps them into a locker, and is like, "Jay, I've got you a gift." That's it.
Just like arm in, scrape it all out like you're throwing shit off a desk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Into-
like it's the
into a
last day of
suitcase.
school and you've not actually used your locker in 2 months. And you're just like, whatever, I'll sort through
Oh,
this
and one of your
shit
sandwiches
later.
has become a small.
Oh god, yeah, there's
town.
They worship your apple.
That's how they started, by the way. Someone left a sandwich in there too long.
What about if someone left a mug full of like
We don't
weird
talk about
goo
the mug.
and
We don't talk about the mug.
coins on a desk for eons?
We don't talk about the mug. I have a mug that I haven't... Okay, there's a mug, it's got some stuff growing in it. We don't talk about the mug.
Well, that's fine.
Ignore the mug.
If in like 5 or 6 guest appearances from now I can hear people chanting your name, Meg, we'll know what's happening.
There are people in there.
I think what we found is the key is you have to put it in a locker.
That's true. Sadly, I don't have one of them at home,
No.
weirdly enough.
Break into a high school, leave it in a locker.
That'll be fine.
What are you doing
in here?
What are you doing here, sir? I'm just putting this mug in a locker. They're just like, well, that's not technically illegal.
I mean, you breaking in is, but we can't get you for the mug thing. That's just weird.
Yeah.
Like, we'll tell the police, but we don't think there's anything they can do about it.
Legally, we can't move the mug. It's not against the law, so we have to leave the mug.
That's not how it works.
No, I know. I just
Does
like
it-
the idea. I like the idea of them not understanding. Like, legally, the mug's not against the law, so we can't touch it.
No,
Yeah.
the police take it, but then they put it in the evidence locker, and then it becomes... It's technically a big locker, also full of guns and drugs, so you get a
We
much
found the
worse
loophole.
outcome.
Yeah. You've
Oh
accidentally
god, we got
made New
real
York, mate.
gangs. Yeah, we've got a proper little gangster colony.
Oh, speaking of violence, we talk about the genuinely what I think is the weirdest joke in this movie is when Jay flashes David Cross, like the nerd video store guy, and he's like, "Move out of your mum's house," and then David Cross picks up a shovel and goes, "Mum," and I was like, "Is he going to kill his mum?"
Yeah.
And that's Jay, and Jay brought that about.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'd totally forgotten about the whole concept of the flashy thing, and I was like, at what point does he flash? In this movie? And I was like, did he?
Well,
Because I mean, not outside of the realms of possibility with this
Yeah.
film.
Will Smith just takes it out, shows David Cross, is like, "Hey, move out of your mum's house." Big wink. David Cross kills his mum. Him and Jay live happily ever after in Cambodia.
In a locker.
We never talked about the opening of this film. Like, the actual opening of this film.
Yeah.
Which is a description
Oh, it's like a
of the...
reenactment, yeah.
Yeah, because clearly they didn't know how to explain that to the viewer without, literally just telling them. They created a more interesting story that they should have made, by the way. They should have made that opening as...
young Kay, his first sort of ever mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine how good that would have been to get young Josh Brolin knowing he's going to be in Men in Black 3 playing young Kay. That'd have been sick if Josh Brolin being it already.
They should have just made that film as the second one instead of showing it in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then telling you the entire film.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun because you're like, what the fuck is this? I knew this was a, low budget cash grab, but...
Yeah.
And then
show
it turns out to be the
twice.
video that they watched
show-
later.
Yeah, and then they
Yeah.
show us it again.
Yeah, I was really afraid they were going to just literally show the whole thing again, and then thankfully got a Kay flashback, and I was like, please don't make us watch all of this again.
Yeah. Nah, it just reminds me of the comfort of Teletubbies.
They're always saving the earth and Teletubbies. Constantly.
So, Dan's favourite memory of Men in Black 1, i.e. the big underground worm,
Yes.
is
the,
actually in this film.
Yeah. The bit I thought was in Men in Black 1, actually Men in Black 2. But yeah, the big worm chasing the subway car and eating it. Good bit.
I did laugh at the
yeah.
flashy thingy where he's obviously the subway cart rolls into the station, sort of.
Oh, yeah.
It's half a cart left, and he's like, "Thank you for taking part in this trial of our new, smaller, greener, more energy efficient subway carts."
Yeah.
And it pans out, and it's literally got tooth marks, and half the cart's gone.
Then he
I
just
really
starts
like-
having a go at them as New Yorkers.
Yeah. I really like that bit where he flashes things and they just start shouting at them, being like, "You idiots! I tell you to get off a train, you get off a train." Then he just flashes them again and does the actual outro instead.
It's like, that's what you get for being New Yorkers. You don't care, you don't listen to a
Yeah.
man who gets on the train telling you there's a giant worm coming,
Right.
and suddenly...
It did remind me of. Did you see that video the other
no.
day of a train that caught fire?
Oh yeah, that was on a southeastern one as well.
Yeah.
Like it's just like a TikTok video or something of someone standing at the platform and one of the wheel sections on the train just bursts into flame, and then everyone just suddenly starts running out of it.
But then there's quite a few people that are quite calmly getting off the bus, and then there's one guy that's just walking with his like typical like working like businessman with his briefcase or his bags, like just walks off and like really quite slowly, considering like the volume of smoke.
I mean, to be fair, once you're far enough away from the fire, it can't get you.
That's true.
And it's England where it's rainy most of the time. Like, no, you're fine.
It's like, oh god, now I'm going to be late for work.
Yeah, that's a complete. I mean, yeah, that's the same that would happen in like London. Is people go, oh god. God damn.
Or like, I'm going to have to film this because my boss won't believe me.
Yeah.
Or, I wonder if I can get my delay repay thing from this.
Yeah, reason, train caught fire.
This is obviously very different because I was raised in Northern Ireland, but I took some of my uni friends to Northern Ireland once, and while we were on the train from Belfast to my hometown, there's like an alert came over and was like, there's going to be a delay in the train because there's a bomb on the line, so everyone just sit tight. And no one did a thing because there's bombs on the train all the time, and all my English friends were just like, are we gonna die? And I was like, man, I've never had a train line there wasn't a bomb on. And I was like, we'll be fine. And then we drove past the bomb in quotation marks, and it was a wheelie bin upside down on fire. And that happens every week in Northern Ireland. So whenever I'm in England and there's a bomb warning or like there's a train on fire, I'm like, fuck, this is real. It's actually happening. It's actually gonna happen. I'm done for.
I remember not too long ago, it was only a few years ago, wasn't it? A train was derailed in Kent because it hit a cow.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
However, we do get unexploded war bombs every now and then.
Oh yeah,
actually,
yeah.
quite.
Oh yeah, they start
Quite
developing. They start raising ground, digging stuff up, and it's like either you'll find a mine, a grenade, or a 2,000-year-old Roman temple.
Is that like the Portsmouth airport or something is like full of pipe bombs because they were trying to blow it up in the World War to stop people landing there, and they just occasionally keep finding them. They're like, oh, there's still more. It's like, yeah.
We get them down the beach. Like every now and then, you just can't go into town. Can't go into certain areas of town because they're like, "What happened? Oh, they found like a World War II unexploded missile or something." And it's like,
yeah,
okay.
Oh, they found a grenade on the beach. It's fine. I used to get that. So when I lived in Coventry, there were a few times where it's just like, yeah, town's closed. They found another bomb. Like, okay,
oh yeah,
fair.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So we're all slightly used to bombs.
Yeah,
just
Which
from different
probably
eras.
I'm a very bombed man. Very bombed. I've lived a very bombed life.
Speaking of bomb, how'd this do?
It was fine. Like, I mean, it wasn't great, but it was like it was, what as I put in my review, it was a lovely bump along the road to eternal darkness.
I think it holds up in that, it's not Men in Black 3.
Yeah. Men in Black 3, one that I think I've seen once and then went back in time to forget about.
I liked all the bits. Tommy Lee Jones in it, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so $140 million budget, $41.8 million box office.
That's not too bad then. I mean, they made a third one. It must have done all right.
Well, they made a fourth one, and it's apparently not good. So
Are they not the same
I've
film?
seen that one. I've seen. No, they've Men in Black International, the one that's got Thor in it.
yeah.
Oh, I thought
And
that
Liam
was...
Neeson, another very bombed man, I might add.
Yes.
My big two last notes, I think, are very important. It's cool that the Statue of Liberty is a big neuralizer, and my hottest take of any movie take of all time, this theme song's better than the first one by a considerable amount.
Oh, yeah.
I'll die on that hill.
It's
the
very
amount of
catchy.
arguments I've
I
had
didn't
with
remember
people
it
about
until you started singing it, but
Yeah.
no, it's a better tune.
When the credits came on, I sat and watched them just in my room when I could have just put it on Spotify. I just sat here quietly while the credits went past me so I could listen to the song. It's a
See,
banger.
now you've said it, all I can hear is the theme song Wild Wild West.
Oh, yeah. Well, obviously that's the best one.
I can't even remember what the Men in Black one do. All I can hear is Will Smith saying Wild Wild West.
Yeah, well, that's obviously the best. Will Smith write the theme song, sing the theme song.
Terrible. Maybe his worst film.
Oh yeah.
It's not a good film.
If I'm remembering correctly, or does Pitbull do the theme song for the third one? Which is funny because Will Smith's still in it.
They didn't want him to anymore.
Yeah. That's right. Like, imagine how upsetting it would be to be like a platinum recording artist and then be like, hey, we're going to get Pitbull to do it instead. You'd be like, I'm here, man, I'll do it. Like, no, we're going to get Pitbull. Everyone loves Pitbull. Like, Will Smith would be furious. So angry he'd probably slap a man, I imagine.
Yeah, it's Back in Time by Pitbull.
Yeah, there you go.
I still can't believe they made a fourth one after the third one.
Yeah, I mean, the fourth one was like, I'm surprised there weren't any references to the first one in the fourth one. Like, it was a big surprise that there just wasn't any cameos. Like, that was just weird.
Was it a reboot, or did they like go like?
It's it's like
soft reboot.
Yeah, it's like a soft reboot. So it's like it's not in New York. I don't think it's kind of like a worldwide Men in Black thing.
Yeah.
So I think they're based in the UK or something. I can't remember. I saw it.
It's Agent O from Men in Black 3, you know, everyone's favourite agent, the one that we all remember from Men in Black 3.
The idea
he's back in Men in Black International.
The idea of British Men in Black is
and
really
Frank the
funny.
Pug has a cameo. It's very politely described in Wikipedia as a box office disappointment.
I think you can tell it's a British version. Yeah, you can tell it's a British version. It's like, oh, it's a bit of a disappointment. It's not. Didn't quite live up to the standards.
It's the high towering standards of the first one.
Does Chris Hemsworth do the theme song? That would be good to know.
It's one of the rules
a very
of Men in
Australian,
Black.
a very Australian version of Man in Black with didgeridoos over the top of it. That would be good.
Oh man, that's one of the rules they have for Men in Black. Is you have to, one of them has to sing and write the theme tune, even if they've never done it before. It's weird that they got Pitbull, who apparently, according to that rule, was one of the lead actors.
Well, even like if you're not gonna pick, one of the lead actors, Michael Jackson was in this one. Why do you not get him to do it? Instead of getting Will Smith to do it again. If you're just gonna throw the convention out the window.
Yeah, I imagine his Michael Jackson's cameo rate and write a song rate are very different.
Yeah. But I don't know, Michael Jackson did a lot of weird shit towards the end. I don't know if you've heard. I imagine he'd be well up for doing a theme song to a movie.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he doesn't have to have a Pepsi, he'll be fine.
So apparently, like this, Men in Black International was going to be edgy.
But they say that about everything these days. They're like, we're going to remake this, but an edgy version. It's like, no, just make a fucking good movie.
And it was supposed to be.
I don't care that it's not R-rated.
It was supposed to be the main antagonists were going to be an alien music group inspired by the Beatles, and then the four members were going to merge into one during the climax.
That sounds better.
That does sound like what the Beatles did. That sounds like what the Beatles did quite a lot. Yeah. The Beatles often came once.
Are you thinking about Power Rangers again?
No. I'm often thinking about Power Rangers, to be fair.
The Megazord of Beatles.
Do you all know what the original, like, the spin-off to Metal Black was going to be after Metal Black 3? Like, before they did Metal Black International?
No.
It was meant to be.
Yes.
It was
21 Jump Street.
Yeah, it was meant to be 23 Jump Street Men in Black.
It was going to be a double up.
Yeah. I'm so disappointed that never happened.
Yeah, because I think that's just
absolutely abysmal.
Yeah, but it's just such a cooked idea. It's so cooked just to be like, what if we just take this show about fairly substandard policemen and put them in the most important military organization of all time? Like, it's absolutely, like, mental to be like, what if we put Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum in the Men in Black film?
It's like,
and just give them Tommy Lee Jones and see what happens.
What does either franchise gain from having the other one involved? Like, they're so
They gain
different.
another film.
They
gain the funding to make another
film. But
film.
they didn't.
No,
it would have created one of the best movie experience. It would have been. I would have had the best cinema experience if that film existed, and then I would have never watched it again.
Unfathomably cursed.
It is. I just really think it's two very funny things to cross over, right? Because obviously they both are comedies, but they're both so tonally different. It's so wildly different tonally.
It reminds me of the crossover of New Girl and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where you're like,
yeah, that was a bit of an odd crossover.
But that is kind of the equivalent, right? Of putting Brooklyn Nine-Nine's not as edgy, but imagine just Andy Samberg was just in Men in Black as Jake Peralta. That's the kind of the equivalent of what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the difference is, Brooklyn Nine-Nine had loads of seasons and was relatively successful.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about the 21 Jump Street film.
They did 22 Jump Street, and then it was going to be 23 Men in Black. Or
23 and Me.
Yeah, it was MI 23, I believe. Was
23 and Me. They do a DNA test, and it turns out they're both aliens.
Yeah. That would have been the twist. That would have been the twist
yeah.
ending where they find out that the 21 Jump Street guys are actually aliens.
Yeah. And they've been undercover as humans all this time, which is a parody of 21 Jump Street. Yeah, it's good.
Or Ice Cube would have been an alien for sure.
Yeah.
And they would have had a female character that did absolutely fuck all the entire time.
Yeah, I think 21 Jump Street managed that, didn't
Kirsten
it?
Wiig. Probably Kirsten Wiig, because 2015. She ended up just prattling about for a bit, then they just don't do anything with her.
She's lampshade in a dress. She can interact with one of the main characters.
Yeah.
I suppose
And it would be a cameo from... who's
Will
famous in
Smith.
2015? No, it would
Pitbull.
have to be someone who's just... Pitbull's in for Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I suppose the one good thing about Men in Black International is they did have a female character who's an actual character. Yeah.
She's like the other protagonist.
So the top,
right?
according to goodhousekeeping.com, my go-to for all of these sorts of inquiries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The most popular celebrity of 2015. Anyone want to guess?
It's not good. I imagine it's not good.
Pierce Morgan.
Close.
No.
It's Kate Middleton.
Oh, yeah. Oh, do you know what? That absolutely makes sense. Like, that would be funny. You can imagine they'd be like, oh, everyone will think we're fun if we're in this for a bit. Like, Kate Middleton's in it, and then every newspaper in England goes mental about it.
The Daily Mail would literally shit themselves.
Yeah.
Like, consecutively.
Yeah.
Oh, and One Direction were in the list as well.
Oh, no, that wasn't who it was. It would have absolutely cut to, like, Agents owed to O&D or something. It would have been just two of them. I mean, Niall Horan and Harry Styles just with tentacles or something.
It would be
about.
like all of them.
Yeah.
It
They'd
would
all
be
just be
like-
one creature.
Yeah.
They'd be like
the
Jar.
Beatles.
Yeah, they'd be like the Jara guy from this one, where Harry Styles takes off a coat and all the rest of them are underneath him, just holding them up.
I think we all agree Harry Styles was the main one.
Oh, if it was gonna make some pop references, some bad that will definitely age
Justin
poorly.
Bieber as well. Yeah.
50 Shades of Grey, that was popular in 2015.
Oh,
That would have been
Jamie
a hell of a
Dornan.
crossover.
Very bombed man, Jamie Dornan.
Jamie Dornan is
Pig-
amazing, except I haven't seen the 50 Shades movies, but everything else he's in, he's great.
Oh,
I just want everyone to know, whenever Dan said that, his face got really red and he looked side to side loads.
And on a similar theme, it was Piggate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been a
Pig
reference.
Pig.
There'd have been some reference where there'd
It
been an alien that was just a pig with a man attached to the back of him.
2015 was a weird. Like, now is a
Simpler
weird time.
times.
But like looking back, you're like, that was weird in like a completely different way.
Do you know what was very funny? The original person I thought of was like, who is famous 2015? I was going to be like, PewDiePie. But everything that's been said, I'd be like, oh, that's way worse.
Yeah.
I'm like, how have we managed to get way worse cameos than PewDiePie?
No, you'd have had realistic minions. Like, somehow.
Oh,
Thanks to real
I wouldn't.
minions.
I mean, I'd hate it, but I wouldn't hate it as they're annoying, but at least they're not, awful.
PewDiePie.
Yeah.
Like Men in Black 21 Jump Street could afford that. Could afford
Yeah,
the
that's a good
copyright
point.
from DreamWorks.
I don't
They
know.
probably could have
22
done a 50 Shades of Grey reference.
Yeah.
22 Jump Street had quite a lot of stunts and stuff in it, if I recall, like explosions and things. They
Can
probably
you
could have
imagine-
afforded some stuff.
Can you imagine if they replaced some of like the planned stunts with Minions? No, we couldn't do that. Why? It'd blown all the budget on the Minions.
Yeah, the problem is as well with 22 Jump Street, 21 Jump Street series is that Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum would have fully just broken, like they just talked about it, right? It'd just be like, holy fuck, is that a minion? Like, as they're running, which would have taken you out of the scene.
Yeah.
That would have taken you out of the scene.
Yeah. I'd have been fully enthralled at this point, I'm assuming.
Yeah, this is near the end of the film, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very engrossing movie.
Do you know, like, 21 Jump Street is like it was like a TV show, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know that. And then whenever there's this bit at the end of 21 Jump Street, spoilers for 21 Jump Street if I was looking to watch it. It's just like it reveals that Johnny Depp was in the background the whole time and he's from the TV show. And I was like, who the fuck's that? Like, I didn't even recognize it was Johnny Depp for like 2 minutes. I was like, who's this guy? This really confused me for ages.
And you just, I would have preferred that if you just also really recognized the other guy from the show and you're like, oh, it's him.
Yeah.
Who's that guy?
Yeah. I just say his full name and date of birth and his first line of his address.
Oh man.
Yeah. So
fucking odd. Yep.
So Men in Black 2.
Oh yeah.
How many dated 2015 references would you give this out of 10?
I'd give it 5.5 Johnny Knoxville heads out of 10. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good, but it's the kind of thing where if like I don't know, I was at home for Christmas and it was on Boxing Day, I'd watch it. Do you know what I mean? Like I'd just be sitting there, nothing to do. I wouldn't turn it off, but I don't think I'd ever seek out to watch it again.
It's a good nothing else is on movie.
Yeah, it's like when I watched it, I just had my phone on my hands. I was kind of texting and stuff, and I was taking occasional notes, and I was like, it's fine. Like it's not good, but I mean, it passed the time, and there's enough random bits in it where I was like, yeah, all right, that's funny. Make up for
this is the kind of film where you're like, I'm watching something else, adverts have come on, and I'm going to find this film, and I'll be like, I'll watch it whilst the adverts are on, and then I forget and watch the entire film.
Yeah.
That's what this film does. Very specifically, because I think I remember doing that.
It's because it neuralizes you.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what would have been a great pop reference that has just everyone's forgotten about? That 2015 was the year of that dress.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That dress itself being an alien that no one can tell what color it is.
Yeah, we're looking for a blue and black alien. No, it's golden. It's golden white.
Yeah, and then that would be a joke then, right? Where Jonah Hill would have stopped the car and be like, "We're not doing this again." And Johnny Depp would be like, "Oh, we're not doing anything because I was right." And Jonah Hill would be like, I've seen the dress. You weren't right." I think that is just like a 3-minute long bit of them improvising an argument, and then Ice Cube would come over the radio and swear loads, and that's the opening to the film. That's the cold open. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think like 3 out of 10 for me. I just couldn't get into it and just got annoyed because it's the exact same problems with the first film again.
Yeah, it's like they learnt nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd give it 4 One Direction cameos out of
Which one's
Oh wait, but that's an 8 out of 10 because there only is 5 One Direction people.
Yeah.
Oh, there are 5 of them.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Well, there are 5 of them. So which member of One Direction are you not having in the movie? Is it Zayn because he left first?
No, I like Zayn. One of the scrawny ones that wasn't Harry.
Liam.
Yeah, fuck Liam.
Yeah, fuck Liam. I hate Liam. If you're listening to this, everyone, I want you to know, hey, I love that movie's official stance on One Direction is that they hate Liam the most of One Direction.
Like, I can somehow picture most of them in my head, but not Liam. I don't think I can. I can picture Zayn and Harry and Niall, the blonde one.
Niall is Irish, so obviously I know who he is. He's on our £5 notes.
I really thought you were about to say he's on our bombs.
He's probably a very bombed man. This is a very weird story, but Louis Armstrong. That's not his name. Louis Tomlinson Louis Tomlinson from One Direction played one professional football match for Doncaster Rovers.
God, they were desperate.
No, like legitimately. And they got 22,000 people to go to the game when their average attendance was like 3,000. And my friend's brother captained the team and afterwards felt really awkward because he's like a 26-year-old man and his sister was like begging him, be like, can you please ask him for your shirt? So Luke has to walk over and be like, here, mate, can I swap shirts for you? And apparently Louis was so pleasant, but in a way where he clearly thought that Luke was a One Direction fan. It's like, no problem, mate, anything for a fan.
Oh,
So
bless.
and Luke's just like, I don't like this guy.
Yeah, because at that point he can't be like, oh, it's from his sister.
Yeah, I can't be like, I think you're shite.
Yeah.
I give 21 Jump Street 6 out of 10.
21 Jump Street, 8 out of 10.
I quite enjoyed 21 Jump Street. It was good.
Yeah,
I remember hating it. So
Yeah, I remember showing it to Helena and she hated it.
yeah, I hated
Um,
it. So I'll see.
but
But
for
maybe
me-
because you
yeah.
liked it so much, that always,
yeah. Helena, did you have to be like
Yeah.
polite and nod about it?
No,
Yeah.
no, it's Dan. I was
Okay.
rude.
Exactly.
I used to
maybe
be
we'll-
nice about that stuff.
Maybe we'll take a break before Men in Black 3 and do the 2 Jump Street films and hope that and by the time we record them, that Men I 23 or whatever has come out. And we can all go and
Men
watch
Street.
it. Yeah, Men Street, yeah.
So did you say
Yeah.
menstruate?
No,
Yeah.
Men Street.
It's weird
Yeah.
that they picked that as a title
That's
for the
that,
film.
no, that's that horror film. That Men Street's that horror film from last year, right? Where the one
Carrie?
guy plays
No.
man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I'd give this 4 different organisms growing in Mikey's mug. out
Yeah,
of
good.
10.
That's good.
What's wrong with the mug
You should
bullying
clean your mug.
today? What is wrong with the mug bullying on today, guys?
We had a locker full of weird organisms, and it just led to it.
No,
I like
leave
the mug.
the mug alone. It has feelings.
That mug is going to be head of MIB one day.
You need to get that mug a passport.
Oh man, I should
Yeah.
clean it.
Yep.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah.
anyway,
I've not
Yeah.
seen it, and I think you should.
yeah.
But also, if you do clean it, you have to start again, Mikey. I'm thinking of all the
No, I
progress
know.
you've made.
I know.
Yeah. Well, with that, I've been Dan.
I've been Michael.
I've been Helena.
And I have been I was going to say the man in Mack, but that does sounds weird. I am Mack.
I mean, that would be very Men in Black of you to lift off your head at this point, and there's just a littler Mac
Here,
inside you controlling everything.
Imagine I just moved my chair slightly to the side and Matt had been behind me the whole time. With marionette strings and been puppeting me the whole time.
Oh yeah, he's ratatouilleing you, but for
Yeah.
podcasts.
Yeah. That's why I've got this hat on. Matt's under there right now.
Well, Mac, where can people find you? Can they by any chance find you at a nice shiny new podcast?
Yes, if you follow on Instagram or Twitter, FlickPod69, and I know that sounds weird to push people towards that for a podcast, but we've started a podcast that there are many other podcasts with the same name, so that's probably the easiest way of finding it. The art is a picture of me and Matt in front of a poster with Frankenstein and a shark and an explosion, so it probably is quite easy to find.
And
Of
what's the podcast called?
What the Flick is the name of it, and let me tell you all about it. We look at a poster for a movie we haven't seen, and we try to figure out the entire plot of the movie using only that. Except we have chose to ignore every actor name that's on it and every time period that we know the film's based in, because we're not good at following the rules of our own podcast. Yeah, it's good. There's 3 episodes out now. Listen to them. And if you don't, I'll come for you in the night.
With a bomb.
Yeah. Oh, they're just lying around. I can't get rid of them.
Picks them up en route.
My pockets are filled with them. I can't get rid of them.
every day you don't listen, you'll leave your house and there'll be a wheelie bin on fire outside your door.
Yeah. And after enough of them, it's just going to get fumes in the house. That'll probably kill you in itself. I mean, I'm not threatening to kill anyone. I've been Mac.
Well, you can find this podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Hilton Pod. That's at HILTM Pod. We're on Discord as well, so you can come and tell us all of your great Men in Black 21 Jump Street collaboration ideas. We will take them down and make the movie eventually.
Yeah. What movie would you combine with Men in Black?
Or 21 Jump Street.
Or 20, yeah. Or the ultimate triplicate movie.
Well, we also have a Patreon where you can donate to keep the show going. And what are we going to be doing for the Patreon this week?
We're going to make 21 Men in Black. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make the film. Going to get everyone back. Honestly, I don't fucking know after this. This has been just a mess. My brain's just gone flat.
I mean, that sounds like how they wrote Men in Black 2. So
Yeah, it feels like it.
Yeah, fair.
on the same
This film
track.
affected me in a negative way.
You know what? I think maybe we could also band together and buy some Dettol for the mug.
Yes.
I know
money
what.
will go
I'm
towards-
changing sides. I'm Team Mug. I reckon keep the mug.
Right? Leave the mug alone.
Do a poll on your Twitter. Get people to vote for or against the mug.
The good part is, like, if you're hashtag Team Mug, if you leave the mug long enough, you'll gain more and more followers.
That's true.
So, like,
If they become smart enough to gain social media, then we're all onto a winner.
who's winning in the long term? Team Mug.
Oh, he's the little gay rat.
Yeah, Pride. Remy at Pride.
AI generated Remy at Pride, of
Yeah.
course.
It's definitely one of the less upsetting AI generated images. So,
Yeah, you can't see it close enough.
sometimes I put my rats on my head and pretend that they're telling me how to cook.
I'm glad we're recording. That was
I get
weird.
lonely. Okay. I mostly just get them to pretend that they're like guiding me to the fridge to open up and get them some cheese.